wet light is on. A little bit of creep in there from Dudman, but we'll have to see if he gets penalised for that. But a good start by... And Stuart Place, what a rocket start. He's overtook both the 205s off the line.
Just like at Cadwell Park, isn't it? Stuart Place makes an excellent start, takes the lead down towards Ritchie's. Christier, his rival, is second. After Robert Campbell's questionable start, he's lost a number of positions as they head up towards Ritchie's corner. So it's the two championship leaders now, almost wheel to wheel, as Christier looks to the inside, then darts to the outside, but it's Stuart Place in 87 that leads. James Hazelhurst there in third. 48, Neil Dudman's going well. He's up into fourth, so he's made a much better start than Robert Campbell managed in 47, who's just there behind Jason Wood. And Tim Rogers is right behind Finn Groom, trying to go to the outside of Finn Groom. I think the youngest driver on the grid, Paul.
He is the youngest driver, and looking up there, Ben Bateman's had a really good one. He looks like he's up to about fifth place there behind Neil Dudman. What a wonderful start by him, because he's well back. And to say the youngest man, Finn Groom there, showing that the XR2s, although they're only carburetted cars, they can really show it against these injection boys.
Yeah, Ben Bateman started ninth, so he's something like fifth. So he had a similar start to what Stuart Place had. A bit further up the grid, everyone all together as they come down towards the left-hander there at Hamilton. Stuart.
Oh, that was a bit. He got a bit wide. Stuart a little bit wide. It's given Christie a little sniff up the inside, but no, Stuart soon shut that off.
Yeah, so he's right there then behind. But I think Christian, possibly that title line didn't work out for him, since Stuart Place has got a slightly bigger gap as they go right now through Williams. Such an important corner, Paul, for the long straight upcoming.
Always you have to really set yourself up, because any mistake on here really costs you down the Bentley Straight. And as we're looking down the Bentley Straight, we see a row of 205s there. Looks like the first four cars are 205s. As the Nova of Ben Bateman behind him. Then Finn Groom in the XR2. Like you say, he's the youngest man on the grid and really showing his dad how it's done as they come on. Now this corner, that left-hander there is a very tricky corner. You have to brake as you go around it, and to get the exit right, you have to miss the curbs, unlike Andrew did earlier. And then they come down towards one of my favourite corners called the bomb hole. It's a little bit of cambered, and you go around there, and it's superb as you feel the drip of the dip at the bottom of the hill there. It's really an amazing feeling. But as they come round Coram, another difficult corner, you've got to brake. You're going so hard. You're turning right, braking, and you've got to try and make the left as they come on to the start-finish straight.
Yeah, it looks like Stuart Place is quite conscious of who is behind him, because he was defending there down towards Murray's, but that potentially, it's not hurt his exit as much as I thought it might do. But there's the whole gaggle of cars because of that battle up going. And Neil Dudman having one of his races in the championship. Paul is challenging for third. He's looking on the outside of James Hazelhurst.
Now that's a very brave move to try and hold on the outside as you come around that corner. But he's going to. I know James is going to really be watching, because you can outbrake yourself as you come towards this hairpin. It's a very tricky hairpin. Most of the cars are going down to second gear. You go around about 100 miles an hour around that corner. Then you got to brake. And Neil Dudman is always going through the middle there, I think, of Ben Bateman. And Finn Groom's got up on the outside of Ben Bateman, but that won't help, because the next corner is a left-hander. So Ben Bateman's looking up the inside of the 205 of Dudman, and he's got past him. What a fantastic move!
So it looked like Ben Bateman was going to lose a place, but he's gained one instead, and Finn Groom has followed him through. Oh. So Neil Dudman, who's sort of not regularly up with this high of the order, has lost a couple of positions, but he's trying to fight back. He's on the outside there of Finn Groom in the XR2. Neil Dudman brakes super late on the outside, which didn't quite work out, I don't think.
I thought he was going to go straight on there, but Finn Groom got an excellent exit. He's trying to go up the inside of Ben Bateman. This camera view we can't quite see. They are side by side. Finn Groom's gone on the inside of Ben Bateman on that corner, but he's gone wide. He's gone wide. Oh my goodness, but has he kept the place? How on earth did he do that?
So Finn Groom exceeding track limits. Manages to stay ahead then of Ben Bateman, and Martin Rogers is joining in. This has allowed the top three to get away. They're a long way ahead now because of this battle pack for fourth place. So it's Finn Groom, Ben Bateman, and then Neil Dudman, of course, lost out at the start of that. Martin Rogers is up next. And then I think we've got Darren Bassingthwaite and Jason Wood behind. But the top two have got away. So it's Stuart Place and Chris Deere. And Stuart Place has got a nice gap now over his championship rival. But it's free abreast, Paul.
It's free abreast, but the injection cars come up the inside. A little bit of a tap there. But this is where the XR2 does lose out on the long straights. We just run out of legs on those straights. And Ben Bateman took advantage of that. Ben Bateman, 93. And Finn Groom, 91. They are the youngest drivers, and they're showing us really, us old-timers, how to handle these cars.
So what's about 10 cars involved in this battle? You've got Titch Kelsall back with us this weekend, Paul.
Yes, it's good to see Titch back. He had a bit sort of a year off in some ways, and he's come back to join us. This is his local circuit. He was feeling fairly confident because it was his local circuit, and he's showing that he still can mix it. And it's all over the back of Finn Groom as Ben Bateman has managed to stretch a little bit away. from Finn Groom. As we come to the start-finish straight, looking further back, here they come. Ben Bateman has got about 4 car length over Finn Groom. And then there's this gaggle there. And we've got side-by-side with, that looks like Darren Bassenthwaite. And I think Jason Woods just got the better of him down the straight.
Yeah, Darren Bassenthwaite again, he's sort of higher up, a bit higher up than perhaps we expect. Then Robert Campbell, when we started from the front row of the grid, his teammate Chris Deere is back on terms with Stuart Place by the looks of things. There's half a second between the two of them. Place, the championship leader. Unlike all the other championships, Classic Stock Catch have only got one meeting after this. Oh, there's been a big incident by the looks of it. Jason Wood's car was off the ground there. He's got a lot of damage to the rear of the car.
And who was that? Neil Dudman. Oh, dear.
He's got a lot of front-end damage. You look at Wood's car.
Has that gone over?
There was, I think, must have been some... He's out the car, so Jason's okay, but that must have been quite a big incident. We only saw the end of it. Not sure if anyone else was involved. Because Dudman was ahead of Wood at the start of the lap, so that's all a little bit confusing how that came about. Because Dudman's got front-end damage, Wood's got damage in weird places on his Nova.
That was very bizarre. Shame we didn't see the start of that, but there was definitely damage there on the roof there, and I wasn't quite sure if it had gone over.
Red flags.
Red flags.
Come on. So now
here we go.
So we're about to get part 2 of the Everything Motorsport Classic Stock Catch race underway, and again it's Stuart Place.
He's done it again.
He makes a really good start. Not a good start from Chris Deere. So James Hazelhurst is alongside. They're 3 abreast and Robin behind. That was Martin Rogers and Finn Groom. That slowed Finn Groom down a little bit, I think. But for Stuart Place, he leads, and now he has a car potentially between himself and his championship rival Chris Deere as they come down in toward Ritchie's, where it's getting pretty tight between Andy Philpotts now on the outside.
And Darren Bassenthwaite there, side by side as they go around that corner. But Stuart Place, another rocket start from this young man. And James Hazelhurst up the inside. Chris Deere's going to go the inside. Go round, but Ben Bateman's trying to come in on the inside as well. But Chris Deere tried to get the overlap, but it weren't happening. But Ben Bateman's going to try and stay on the outside. That's very brave. This first left-hand corner is very tricky. It's tighter than you think. And I think Chris Deere will stay in front, and it's he does.
Yeah, so he's not where he wants to be, is he? If he's going to keep this championship, if he's going to keep the championship alive this weekend, I think he needs to beat Stuart Place in all the races. And obviously, he's now quite a long way behind Stuart Place, who leads the way. So is Chris Deere going to perhaps go into have some daredevil moves to get ahead of James Hazelhurst, because he can't really afford to go any further back than that, say, if he wants to keep the championship going to Donington Park. So he's behind Hazelhurst, who's there in second place. Hazelhurst, who has had 3 third places this year, so he'd quite like a second, I'm sure.
I'm not sure he's going to be used to this sort of pressure, though, from Chris Deere, last year's champion. He's really going to show his muscle. Oh, and I think he's trying to go a little wide there, and Chris Deere may have the overlap as you come towards the start-finish straight. No, he hasn't. He just managed to get that shut off. But there's a lot of pressure there. Looking further back, there's Pete Osgerby, Terry Deere, and David Cheeky, who's in the other Red Nova, which also belongs to Jason Wood. But I think maybe giving up his seat tomorrow if Jason can't get the other car sorted. But look at that lead that Stuart Place has got. I think what's helping this is Chris Deere and James Hazelhurst are having this little battle. And I think that's slowing them both up, which is allowing Stuart Place just to go off into the distance. Yeah. Oh, Chris Deere was trying to get the overlap, and Ben's going to try and go on the inside as they come up towards the bomb hole.
Hazelhurst is very keen on this second place, isn't he? He's defending very hard, and that's going to bring those behind in. And Ben Bateman, the ex-short oval man, he's up on the inside of Chris Deere, and will try and take third position away from Deere. They're potentially rubbing as they go through Corn, but Ben Bateman's through.
How did Ben do that?
Into third position, and now Jason Hazelhurst has run wide, so Bateman might have second by the time they come to the line.
He's got the run out the corner.
And the last lap board is going out, so it is going to be a 2-lap race, and Stuart Place leads by a long way, but it's 3 abreast behind. On the outside is Chris Deere, in the middle is Ben Bateman, on the inside is James Hazelhurst. They go up towards Ritchie's corner. The Nova hasn't got the straight line speed it would seem for Bateman, so it's Hazelhurst versus Deere. On the inside is Hazelhurst, on the outside is Chris Deere, and they're still wheel to wheel. So Ben Bateman might come back into this on the exit of Ritchie's up towards the hairpin. Martin Rogers is there just behind. Another Peugeot. It's quite Peugeot dominated the front end of the pack, but James Hazelhurst is held on to second, and Chris Deere I think it's dropped to fourth. Oh, and Ben Bateman's going to the back of Hazelhurst. He's off the circuit across the grass. So Bateman's into second. Deere might get that position by the time they get to the next corner at Palmer. Those are for poor James Hazelhurst. He's dropped down the order somewhat because of that. And Deere has got past Bateman, so he's back into second somehow.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, like you say, Chris Deere is so desperate to get as close as he can to Stuart Place to give his championship a chance this year. But what a crazy situation we find ourselves in. The car's going off, and Finn Groom trying to look up the inside of Martin Rogers, but that didn't quite pay off. But looking at the front now, but Stuart Place has gone off in the distance. He's gone and checked out. And now Ben Bateman will not sit back. He will want a second place. He will be all over the back of Chris Deere machine. But as we're looking, Finn Groom and Martin Rogers, we've got the... both went a little bit wide there. They're both trying to keep in front. But Finn Groom, this young man, he's showing that he really can muscle this car around. And Martin Rogers got a little bit wide there. I'm not quite sure if he can get the overlap. No, not quite. Oh, what a fantastic piece of racing. And there is James Hazelhurst after his little bit of a knock there.
You're going to need a lie down and darkened room after this, Paul.
Definitely.
Try doing a whole day of it.
I get too old for this.
So they make their way down the Bentley Straight. Stuart Place a long way clear, we've been saying. He led by 3.5 seconds after the first lap and the penultimate lap of the race. In second place is Chris Deere, so he has got back to V2. Third is Bateman, who's looking for a podium. Ben Bateman, who's only had the one podium this season. He's there in third position ahead of Martin Rogers in fourth, who hasn't had the best of season, so he'll be pleased to be up there. But there's last year's champion Deere heading up towards Coram Curve for Ben Bateman. He got his podium at Croft a couple of months ago. But
this will really give him a lift, but look at this man, Stuart Place. He is totally 100% focused. I know he's focused on the championship. He's not putting a foot wrong. He gets off the line like a rocket ship, and he's just showing how domineering he is in this championship this season as he heads toward the line with an enormous gap. Stuart Place takes the win for the first race, followed by Chris Deere, Ben Bateman, a fantastic podium, Martin Rogers, James Hazelhurst and Finn Groom almost side by side with Darren Bassingthwaite. And a great result for Darren Bassingthwaite.